you ready to do this?
Let's do it. Let's go.
They say it pays the cost to be the boss. Time to show 'em who's in charge.
Praise the Lord for my anything crash with his beat. I thank the Lord for my that I smash every week. I put it all in the guts and now go fast asleep. Since she been on me for months and left my message on scene.
I put it to you like this. You dust me in this, I'll let you have that.
Open that mosh pit up.
Hello everyone and welcome back to CTC here for round 3 of the PC Championship. Unfortunately I'll be alone today as Joshua Birch has had to attend a family emergency. I wish you all the best, Josh, and hopefully everything goes well. So we should look to have him back next week. But welcome back. Also we had a great round last week in Monza with Keaton taking the win after having that penalty. Managed to get the 5-second gap, take the win. And then we go back to round 1 where we had Matty win the race. He had to defend from Keaton and Lars behind as they was on fresher tyres. He was on tyres that were about to have a puncture. I think we had about 7 punctures in that race. So we've had 2 fantastic rounds so far. I'm obviously here for the third at Austria. Just having a look at the standings. I've got them on my trusty phone as I can't get them onto the stream. Obviously, Team Jiu win. Obviously did really well in that last race, and they lead the championship by 4 points with 28 points in second. PSR, who have had a really great showing so far, on 24. Then we have 3 points behind Team TF10 on 21. Then 1 point behind them, NLR on 20. They had that fantastic start in Silverstone that has really helped them with the championship. Then we look further down, ET8 on 18, followed by FVR on 15. Then Parnell very far behind on 7. Very surprising for them considering they're one of the quickest teams in the community, in the community teams for F1 22. And then finally, Juventus Racing, QRT and WR have scored no points so far this season. So they've got a long charge. They've got a charge to go on today, definitely, to score some of their first points. Looking at the lineup for today, obviously NLR taking Matty and Yoris, bit similar to what they took in the past 2 rounds. Parnell taking Andres Lopez and Sergio Sobrino. Then we have Tony Richet and Jensen Randall for Shazoo. Then we have for ET8, Timo Zanikiewicz and Andre Molnar. Was originally meant to be JSD, but he's obviously swapped around with Andre, and he's going to be taking that seat. Then we have PSR. They've got Primoz, Miklavcic, and Keaton. Lots, obviously, Keaton being a really good performer this season, probably one of the best this season here in CTC. Then we have FVR, who got Franek, Mraviek, and Kuba, Treshak, and a full Polish lineup for the FVR team today. And then the final few teams, we've got QRT, who've got Mikolai and Maximilian. And then we've got WR with Goji, who I believe might be Jack Maloney. I'm not sure, but I believe it is. And then we've got Lewis Walker as well, who's going to be driving for QRT. Then we have Juventus Racing. We've got Bose alongside Leo Lund. And then we have TF10 finally with Floris Fires and Tumas Launer. So that should be a great team, TF10. Hopefully they can score some great points today. Would be good. Obviously they're 7 points back on Shazoo in the championship, so they've got a bit of work to do, but I'm sure they can definitely do it. And we are about to get into the lobby, I believe. We've got all 20 drivers in, and we'll have a little look at the track we're at today, which you can see the Austria, the Red Bull Ring, I believe the Österreich Ring as it was known as before. Obviously, you've got the 3 DRS zones down into turn 1, down into turn 3, and down into turn 4. You've got 10 corners, I think it's the track with the least amount of corners on the F1 calendar, and it's also one of the shortest tracks on the calendar as well, at just 2.6 miles, 4.3 kilometers. Great track. Obviously, you got the into turn one, the 90-degree right hander, very easy to mess up there on entry and on exit. Obviously, on entry you can hit the curve too much and spin. On exit you can hit the sausage curve and spin, or also go wider and then invalidate your lap time. Then you charge down through turn two, which is bit really just a bit of a kink to the left, and then you go into turn three, the hairpin, a very difficult place for traction as well. And obviously you can go wide there easily under battling. Then you charge down with the DRS in towards turns four. Yet again, you've got to be very careful there. It's downhill, right-hander, can be easy to lock up when battling with people, or just on general. Or just in general. Then you come through turn five, then chuck yourselves in towards the double left-hander at 6 and 7. Very careful there. You break about the 50-meter board into 6, and you can just chuck the car, and you've got to coast it in, really. You can't be too aggressive there, but you've got to make sure you're not too what would the word be? Too not aggressive, I suppose you could say. Otherwise, you're going to lose lots and lots of time. Then you have turn 8, which is a bit of a kink to the right, followed by the final two corners, which are 9 and 10. Very easy to invalidate at turn 9, and also really easy to invalidate at turn 10. So it looks like a simple track on paper, but it is a pretty difficult track in my eyes. You've got to get everything right, and because of how short it is, the skill gap between times is very little around here. Probably one of the shortest the smallest skill gaps. So one tiny mistake losing half a tenth could be the difference between first and 10th. But I believe we're about to get into the lobby. We'll have a little look here at the grid lineup when it loads, and it hasn't. Hello game, there we are. So you can obviously see that. Oh, perfect! I'm about to get in. And 1 second. There we are. I am back. And yet, Tony, I don't know what the issue is, mate. Every single time, I don't know what the issue is. What I've done is I've tried changing your nickname. What I did was I changed it to something random, then edited it so it'll go back to normal, but it just hasn't. So I think there must be something to do with it could be something to do with my Steam settings and what it shows. But yeah, it is a bit of a weird one for definite. But yeah, we'll have to try and sort that one out for definite, mate, after the race or sometime. But we've got a very strong grid as usual. Obviously, we wouldn't expect to see many people that have driven Xbox here today, as they are taking part in the Challenges series, which has begun recently. And I tuned out of it very quickly because of the sound on the game was very, very bad. And hopefully ours is nowhere near as bad as that. Just waiting for Jack Maloney to load in now. That's either Goji or it's another driver from WOR. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, just wait for that one driver to get in, and we believe we get started in about 3 seconds. Obviously, if you just tuned in, Joshua Birch isn't here today. He's got an emergency family thing to sort out, so he can't join us. So it's just me alone for tonight's race. I'm just going to get everything sorted on the stream. There we go. And we get ready to begin the qualifying session. But let us know, is there anyone here that you think might take pole? Because I think it's very early to tell. But let us know, is there anyone you've been watching practice today, maybe, or one of your teammates thinking, oh, he has a chance of getting pole? Let us know. Obviously, we've got in my eyes, I would say the two strongest team. Oh, the throw out initially there. The two strongest teams I would say are possibly Shazoo and TF10. We've got Tony and Jensen, great drivers. Jensen used to drive on the PlayStation. Tony has been around on this platform for a while. And then obviously we've got TF10, we've got Tumas, who's kind of climbed up the ranks as of recent. And obviously Floris, previous esports driver, he knows what he's doing. And he's a great driver. But Tony Vichet, he's the first driver out on track. He's just currently coming up towards turn 3. Jay, as he says, Yoris pole. Maybe. We'll never know. We had a Matty win, so maybe Yoris takes the pole position. We'll have to see at the end. But the qualifying round here should be really, really close. And I'll probably jinx that by saying it, but it should be. Because around here, because of how short the track is, and how I'd say for these drivers it is pretty easy, especially some of these corners. So realistically, time should be within max 5-6 tenths. Rain ? Is that you asking if there's going to be rain, or are you saying there is rain? Because that would be interesting if there is. But Tony Rishanek currently coming through into the final corner to begin the first lap of the qualifying session. 16 minutes to go. And Tony begins the first lap now, charging with the DRS, down in towards turn 1, hits about 325, chucks on the brakes, goes down to 4th. You can see there, rides a curb on the exit, very nice there from Tony through that first corner. Now he comes up towards the little kink to the left at turn 2, and there is rain confirmed, hence why everyone's out. And he does a 15.995 in that first sector. He's heads down in towards turn 3, very nice there, riding the curb on the exit at turn 3. DRS opens, he now charges down towards turn 4, and Maurice Faith taking the qualifying ban for QRT. We now head through into turn 4 with Tony Richet. Very nice there. Shifts down to 3rd, back to 4th. You can see being very nice and early on the throttle. That's what you need around a track like this. You need to be able to get on the throttle as early as possible. As he now comes through into the end of this middle set. So let's see what split that Sony can do. It's a 44.636 there. Having a bit of a snap moment there coming through towards turn 8. So that'll lose him a little bit of time from what I saw on my screen. But comes through in towards turns 9 and 10. You've got to be very careful here not to go wide. Tony does that perfectly into turn 9, now into turn 10. Rides the curb on the exit. Great banker there from Tony. And does a 4.327 Laminen. They're coming through in towards the final couple of corners. Let's see what time he can set on the board as he comes through. Out of turn 10, up to the line. It's a 4.1, takes provisional pole position. Team Zelenkiewicz quickest in the first sector. And then we have Keeden going 3rd and Primoz going up to 2nd. Great lap time there from him as well. Maximilian goes into 5th. Kutresiak up into 6th. Not a great time from him. I would have expected him to be in that the 0.2, 0.3 area. And Joris now currently coming through into the final few corners. Floris Fires goes quick as there. TF10 1-2 at the moment. Sergio Sabrino into 7th. Franek Mraviak into 6th. Joris, where can he go? Stops himself between the 2 PSR drivers. Now we look further up. AMS Lewis currently coming through into the final few corners. Where can he put his Aston Martin up to the line? Goes up into only 13th fastest with the 105. Jensen Randall, I believe he's on a lap as well, currently coming through. Matty goes into 11th there with a 4.6 mile an hour, a 4.3. Team Zelenkiewicz goes quickest. First driver into the 103s. Great lap time there for a banker, a 103.9 as a banker lap. Great there from Zelenkiewicz. We've also had an invalidation there from Andres Lopez, so he won't set a lap this time round. Jensen Randall, however, now currently coming through in towards the final few corners. Obviously, well, into the final few corners of sector 1, now in towards sector 2. Obviously, Shizu leading the championship so far, 4 points ahead of PSR. So Jensen needs to get a great lap in. Obviously, Tony's only put himself 7th with a 0.3. Jensen needs to get himself in that top 3, preferably to try and keep himself covered. And he's invalidated. I've missed that one. So Jensen has to go back into the pits or go for a run again. I don't think he can run again, but he will run again. And I believe this could be either to set a new lap or just to see what time he sets. He would have set a 104.5, would have put him in 11th. Leo London on lap now. He's currently coming through up towards turn 3. 15.982 there for Leo in the first sector. Great lap time there. All but has a bit of an issue coming out of turn 3. Goes invalidates. Ghosted. Sorry, will have lost a bit of time there, and he lets off his lap there. So not what he would have wanted. Jensen Randall is on a lap though. Let's see if he does improve and if he does want to try and set this lap, because he's running low on ERS. But I think his main thing now is just to get a bit of a time on the board so he doesn't start 16th. As we now go through with Randall as he comes out of turn 4 now, riding the curb as he comes through into towards turn 5 now. He wants to mount the curb as he goes into the entry of turn 6, breaking the 50-metre ball, chucks the car in, ride the curb on entry for a bit of rotation, ride the curb on exit, then to chuck it into the brakes as you brake just before the green grass, and then you chuck yourself in towards turn 8, now coming down towards turn 9, but currently Team Zelenkiewicz on pole and Jensen does pit. But great lap time there from Team obviously putting himself on that top spot. Leo Lund sets a lap for 16th to 10.4. Obviously, that's not going to be representable time at all. But let's see if he runs again. I'm not sure if he will. I think he might, as he comes out now of turn 1, now towards turn 2 and 3. Everyone back out on 8 laps now, both the TF10s. Keeden's out as well, so is Tony Richet. We'll go to Tony, as I believe he's about to start a lap. Otherwise, he's on a lap. We'll see as Tony comes through the final couple of corners. Yes, he's beginning his lap now, so let's see what Tony Richet can do on his second run. Could be his final run, depending on when the rain decides to arrive. Comes in towards turn 1. You can see shift down to 4th. Back on the pair nice and early. Rides the curb out of there. Very nice from Tony. He now charges down with the DRS. Bit of help there from the QRT driver. A bit of slipstream, but I think the QRT driver moves out the way. Yes, he does. And Tony is down by nearly a 10th in that first set, so we've got a lot of time to gain in the second and third. We'll see what he can do as he comes out of turn 3. Now charges down towards turn 4. We've got a McLaren there, letting off. That's going to be beginning a lap. I think that might be Floris. Down at turn 9 and 10. And Tony has let off his lap, I believe. Yes, he has. But we'll look now at Flores Fires, who's currently coming out the final corner. He's going to be starting his lap now to try and take this provisional pole from Team. Obviously, Team attend the head of Flores. Flores obviously wants to get ahead of him and wants to start on pole. And we'll have to see what he can do. Obviously, he did a race here at PSGL a few weeks back. Unfortunately, didn't make the exit of turn 1 due to a collision. So he hopes this time it goes a lot better than that, of course. As you know, comes out of turn 3. Didn't see what he did in that first sector, but we'll have to see what he can do in the middle. As you know, charges with the DRS down in towards turn 4. Has got to improve here. Brakes just after the 100, just before the 50. Chucks the car in, misses the apex completely there. Goes wide onto the grass, so that's for us his lap time done and dusted. Laminen up by a 1/10.5. Where can he go to as he comes up towards the line? Can he improve? Can he take provisional pole? No, he can't. He goes just ahead of his teammate and just behind. Timin Zelenkiewicz puts himself into P2. Great lap time there, though, still, with the TF10 still sitting second and third. Lopez on a lap time as well. I believe that was Kuba Tresiak there, going up to 7th with a .204 there. Nice lap time from him. Puts himself into 7th, just ahead of Tony Richet. Lopez on a lap as well. He's currently coming out of turn 8 now, down in towards turns 9 and 10. He's got to improve. Well, he's got to set a lap time for a start. So is Jensen Randall as he's coming through in towards turn 5 and 6, I believe now. But let's see, what can Lopez do up to the line? Can he get himself into that top 10 ahead of his teammate? No, he can't. Just goes just behind. Has a bit of a snap, though, on the exit of turn 10. And I believe he had a snap over the line as he ended up going onto the grass after he crossed the line. And there we have Sabrina up to 8th, Molnar up to 2nd with a 0.023, 4 thousandths ahead of Laminen there. It would be great for ETA to start 1st and 2nd. They're 5th in the championship currently on 18 points, 10 points behind the leaders, which are Shizu. Jensen Randall on a lap time now. Maurice Faith, obviously, if you're new here, he has started from the back due to a qualifying ban. Hello, Hype, welcome in. And now Randall, a 44.8 in the middle set to split. Let's see what he can do as he comes through now into turn 9 and 10. He's got to get at least a top 10 lap time on the board, surely, as they are championship leaders. PSR starting 4th and 6th so far, so not a bad session for them. And then let's see, what can Randall do up towards the line? Where can he go? It will be a 12th fastest lap time there with a .406. So we've got a lot of time to gain. And Lopez not on a lap. I don't think we've got many people on a lap at all. Unfortunately, Maloney's on a 7.9. Let me look through that. See, can he improve in the middle? He's up by 2 seconds. Currently looking for a 5.9. If he can make this work, as you know, comes flying out to turn 8, now in towards turns 9 and 10. He's got to try and make this work as he goes through. In towards 9, now in towards turns 10. Shifts centre, back on the pole, rides the curve on the exit, up to the line. Where can Maloney go? It will be up to 18th, a 4.8 there. And Lewis starting lap now. Well, actually on a lap now. He's currently on a 5.0, so he's the only driver so far in the 5s. He's got to get at least himself into the 4s. He's going to improve by 2 tenths to jump the person in 18th. So he's got a lot of work to do in this next lap. Matty is on lap now. He's currently coming through in towards turn 3. He's up by 10 thousandths of a second in that first sector. Obviously, the first sector is pretty hard to judge of your speed on that because it's literally one corner. And then you just ride up. And obviously, sometimes your first sector might be slower than others because of your setup. And now let's see if Matty does go for a lap. There we are. That's one of the QRTs just moving out the way. No, sorry, not QRT. WR, sorry. Moving out the way down to the exit of the entry of turn 4. Matty now currently coming through in the Red Bull. Through in towards turn 6, now in towards 7. Goes a bit wide on the entry of 6, so that could lose him time. But he's up by a 1/10.5. Could be enough to put himself into that top 12. His teammate Joris currently in 7th. With a 104.186, so great lap time there from Joris, only setting 1 lap time so far, and a .1 is one he would have definitely liked to keep, and he will definitely want to improve on that as well. And now Matty into the final few corners. Where can he go? Can he jump his teammate? No, he can't, but he goes just about into the top 10, knocks Tony Richet down into 11th. Moraviak on an 8 lap as well, so is Leo Lund. Also got Cuba and Sergio. Flores is on a lap, and is let off already, so Flores was up by a bit of time in the first, but has let off, so Flores not having any good runs so far. Well, he's had one good run, but that's about it. Laminen, he's on a lap as well. He wants to try and get back onto the front row and split the 2 ETA guys. He's down by 37 thousandths in the first sector, but he can still gain in the middle and the last. As you know, comes through. Down with the DRS in towards turn 4. Obviously, Laminen wants to try and hunt after PSR and Shizu, and currently they're having a great qualifying ahead of PSR and ahead of Shizu by a mile, and he invalidates. So that will be the lap time over for Thomas Laminen. And Zelenkiewicz, he's on a lap time. No, he's not. He was down by a 10th, and he's invalidated. So not many improvements across the board at all. Leo Lund, however, has gone purple in the first sector. Couldn't see what time it was, but we'll have to see what he can do Now as he comes out of turn 3 with the DRS open, obviously racing for Juventus Racing, moving originally from NLR, I believe, over to JR, and he comes down in towards turn 4 there, missing the apex completely. Rides a curb, nearly rides a bit of grass on the exit of turn 4, and now through into 5, and now in towards turn 6 and 7, chucks the car in, brakes at the 50-metre board, then you can ride the curb on the exit as you brake just before the grass on entry to turn 8 and 7 and 8, and you can see ride the curb through down the right-hander, and he spins on the exit there. That's Leo Lund having a bit of a Hamilton type incident, but instead at the exit of turn 8 and not the entry. But not what he would have wanted, because he was on an improvement there, Leo Lund was. Big shame for him in that qualifying run. Andres Lopez down by 2/10, so he won't be on an actual lap time. We'll look up, we have Jensen Randall, he's on a time as well. He's now beginning his, I believe, third lap of the session after invalidating his first, setting his second. But he's got a lot of time to game in this final lap, and he's up by 63 thousandths, running a 16.0 in that first set. Wants to jump his teammate, and he wants to theoretically get himself just into the low 4s. That's the 4.1s maybe, into the high 3s to get himself a good qualifying time. That's Flores there improving. Sergio Sobrino goes into the 0.9s there. Great lap time there from the Parnell Racing driver. That came out of absolute nowhere from Sergio. And now we have 5 minutes left. It seems the rain isn't coming, because it was, but now it's actually thought, you know what, we'll let them actually have a full quali. Jensen Randall up by 3/10. He's looking for a great lap for a 4.1. This could put him into the top 8 ahead of Yoris and just behind the PSR guys. But PSR at the moment clear of Shizu. But they want it to say that way, of course, but Shizu definitely don't want it to. Now, Jensen out the final corner up to the line. Where can he go? Can he put it into the top 10? Yes, he can. Just behind Joris and just behind PSR. Theoretically, this is not a great qualifying for Shizu at all, as they want to be ahead of PSR at the minimum. And now let's see as we work our way up his Forest on lap time. Yes, no, he's not. He's let off. So we must have completed his lap time. Sergio Sobrino going to be going back into the pit lanes. Is Lopez on a time? He's down by 18 thousandths in the first. Moraviak up by 2/10, so this could be a good time for him. Can he get himself ahead of his teammates, or at least just behind up to line? Now, what can Moraviak do? Up to line, and he puts himself P5 splitting the two TF10s. You can see, look how close it is between P3 and P9, all within a 10th, and Primoz and Yoris, I didn't see that one go at the same time, but no, Primoz improves into the 0.9s then. Caden Luck goes fastest with a 3.953. These times are crumbling down at the end of this session, and it's 44 thousandths or something on that between the top 4, then 5th down to 9th are separated by 50 thousandths. This is a great qualifying session so far. And let's see if we can get any more improvements. We've got Randall, he's heading into the pit lane. Rochet's on an out lap. Maximilian's on a lap time as well. He's currently coming through, and he's let off his time, so we won't be on a lap time at all. And we'll watch Rochet as he's about to begin his out lap, and shortly we'll be beginning his final run of the session. And there's no in the chat, is the sound of the game fine? Because I know my sound's fine. But I'm not quite sure if the game sounds good, because it's a bit quiet my end. But just let us know. But so far, PSR going 1 and 3 with a 0.93, no, 0.95, sorry, and a 0.98. Great lap times from those two. Parnell, 4th and 15th. So Andres got a lot of time to gain. QRT, 16th and 20th. WR, unfortunately, 18th and 19th, not making any improvements on their runs. JR, obviously wanting to at least score themselves some points today. They're on 0 points as well. They're starting 14th and 17th. Provisionally, and Chen Roche now beginning his final, or one of his final runs at the session, because he could, and he goes wide and he's invalidated. So Tony's now going to let off, and he'll probably go again, as he's got 2 minutes to get back around the track, so we will, because it's a short track. It's very easy. If you make one mistake, then you can just go again. And now everyone's out on 8 laps. Lamanen is on a lap now. He's currently 13 thousandths down in his first sector, and to get himself into the 103s. Well, he wants to at least. We'll have to see if he can do so though, as he now charges down in towards turn 4. TF10 have made mistakes down here many times down at turn 4 recently in his qualifying session. Both of them running wide at some point. Big slide there, nearly ruining it again for Tumas, as he now comes through towards turn 6 and 7. It's got to be an improvement. If not, he could let off and go again, but I don't think he will. Goes really wide going through turn 6 on my eyes, and he's down by 6/10, so that won't be a lap time set at all. Molnar, he's going to be getting ready to set a time. Zelenkiewicz also getting ready. We'll see on board with Zelenkiewicz, as he was the pole sitter for most of the session. And he's obviously got to try and get a good lap time in again and try and jump over Keeden and put himself onto the front. Well, put himself onto the front of the front row. As they come through now, Zelenkiewicz out of turn 1 has a bit of a slide on the entry, so could lose him a bit of time. But we'll see as he climbs up through turn 2, bit of a kink to the left, then he comes in towards turn 3, up by 68,000, so he's a bit of a slide in turn 1, helped him, as he's gone purple and he's improved. Now let's see, as he comes out of turn 3, he's got a bit of traffic ahead, so he's going to try and avoid that. That's a McLaren there, moving out the way. I believe that might be Floris, and then we've got a Haas moving out the way as well. That might be Franek. As he comes into turn 4 now, shifts down to 3rd. Many drivers shifting down to 4th, but obviously team are liking the thought of going down to 3rd. He now comes through in towards 6 and 7 now, chucks the car in to the inside, doesn't touch the curb. Many drivers not touching that curb there, and he's up by a 10th. This is good enough for a 3.8, but has a bit of a slide there through turn 8. As he now comes down in towards turn 9 and 10. This could be a great lap time for Timo, but he's got to keep it now. In these final couple of corners, you've got to be careful not to go wide and invalidate. And he sticks it very nice through turn 9. Molnar goes quick as a 3.941, but can Zelenkiewicz equal his teammates? He goes first. A 7.85. Great lap time there for Zelenkiewicz. I think that's 2/10 off one of the esports time from Thomas Ronhaar. So great lap time there from Zelenkiewicz. And still ET8 still managing to lock out that front first and second. That's, I think... Randall there. No, sorry, it was Andres Lopez going up into 9th there. Tony Richet improves to a 101. He goes 11th fastest. Randall's out of the session. He's retired either... Oh, it looks like he's retired on track. Then at the final corner. Or he has retired on entry to the pit lane. One of the two. We look further up. Let's see. Can Keaton look to improve? He's up by a 10th. No, he's not. He's on a lap now. Is he up? He's down by 54 thousandths. McLavchich coming through now. Has a big slide. That could be his qualifying over. Sabrino down by 71 thousandths. But can he improve in these final couple of corners and get a good lap time? As he comes up to I know he won't improve. He stays in 5th. Now we've got Lemonen down by 60 thousandths. And there we are. Sergio not improving. But Floris is up by 46 thousandths. But he's down by 5 thousandths in that middle sector. Let's see. Can he improve in the final sector? He's only got to gain a 10th, really. So he get himself into provisional 3rd as he comes through now into the final few corners. Moraviak goes 2nd fastest with a .906. Great lot turn there. Where can Floris go up to the line? Can he improve? Floris doesn't improve and stays 8th. And we'll have a look at Keaton as he's on a lap time. Currently coming through now into the final few corners. And he doesn't improve. He goes into the pit lane. Molnar's not on a time, nor is Zelenkiewicz. Have we got anyone else on time? We've got Trashiak, he's let off. Bose, he's let off as well. And I think that is qualifying near enough done. And Timo Zelenkiewicz takes pole, followed by Franek Mraviak and ET8. 1st and 3rd, great lap time there. But 3.785, that is absolutely amazing from Timo. We look further down, PSR starting 4th and 5th. Parnell for Sergio and Andres, that's 6th and 9th. TF10, who had a great start to the session, unfortunately dropping back to 7th and 8th. But Shazoo, not what they would have wanted at all, starting 11th and 13th. Considering they're 4 points ahead in the championship, that's going to look very unlikely to keep. Unless they can make some good improvements. Joris in 10th, followed by Bose in 12th. Then we have Trashiak in 14th. Matty in 15th. We have Lucat in 16th. Leo Lund starting 17th. And then we've got the two WORs, 18th and 19th. And obviously Maurice Fath taking the quali-ban for QRT. But great lap times there from the top 3. And have a look at the gap to leader. Look at that. Mega close. The top 10 separated by 3/10. Well, I suppose you could say 2nd to 10th separated by 2/10. Further down, we've obviously got really close gaps. 6th to 8th, half a 10th. Then we look further down, we've got 10th to 14th, well, 10th to 15th, a 10th. And obviously the grid separates a lot going 16th downwards, but still, great lap times there. And we've got a 5-pace penalty for Jack Maloney for illegal blocking. Not sure what that's all about. But there we are, we'll have a little run through the quali results. So Timo Zelenkiewicz takes pole by just over a 10th to Franek Mraviak. Then we have Andre Molnar in 3rd, Keaton Nutt in 4th, followed by his teammate Primoz McLavchich in 5th. Then we have Sergio Sabrino, Thomas Lemon and Floris Fires. Andres Lopez, Joris takes out the top 10. Then we have Tony Richet, Bose, Jensen Randall, Cuba Trashiak, Matty, Maximilian Lucat, Leo Lund, AMS Lewis, Maloney, and then finally Maurice Faith take out the top 20. So obviously a lot of time really that WR should have gained in that session, but they wasn't able to do so. So they're on a back foot really, starting down 18th and 19th, not what they would have wanted. So is QRT 16th and 20th. They've got a lot of work to do. But for me, the ones to talk about is Shazoo. They're 4 points ahead in the championship, and they're starting both out of the points positions, 11th and 13th. But all can change in the session, as we have obviously first laps. That can cause carnage. Could gain or lose a few positions. You've got the undercuts, overcuts. Everything comes into play. Safety cars. The weather, let's see, is it dry? I presume it will be. And yes, it is dry. But it does look a bit dark as you look over the trees there. So we'll have to see that comes into play. And we can see there the T-posing from the Haas F1 team engineers, and we can see them all T-posting all the way down the grid. I don't know if that was done on purpose, but it looks like it was done on purpose. Surely they can't make it surely they can't intentionally make it like that with no comedic value or comedic thought at least. And you can see there, actually, if you look at the fans at the top on the grandstand, they've actually got faces this time, and they're not just squares. They've actually got faces, which is a first. But enough about the AI and the game features. More about the racing. We have 0 seconds. The countdown has clocked to the bottom, and we are now going to wait for players. We can see it's Tima alongside one of the FVR's, Franek Mraviak. Let's see who gets the better line. 5 lights, and it is lights out for the Austrian Grand Prix. Great start there from the top 2, and I think Andre's going to be under pressure on Keedon looking to turn 1. Yes, they are. Can Keedon put himself into third? It's going to be hard. They're going to go side by side through there. Bit of contact between the two as they now go side by side down in towards turn 3. We'll have a look at the tyres as we go through there. We have everyone on the hards apart from Bose, but the two PSRs looking to try and take both Andre into turn 3. Keedon with the inside line there, spinning Franek Mraviak round, and we've also got Molnar having a bit of an issue as well. People making contacts left, right and centre down at turn 3. I mentioned that at the start, that would cause some issues. We go 3 wide nearly down into turn 4. Can Keedon try and take second? He's going to be fighting for third though, with Sabrino. Had a great start there, going around the outside of Keedon as they come through in towards 6 and 7. Sergio has the inside line into turn 6, and he tries to push for it. They nearly make contact with Mraviak there, but Sergio just about keeps ahead and keeps himself into third, but there, a bit of a send from Keedon, hits the back of Sergio, but they both make it through. Saving Sane further down, we've got Leo London Jensen fighting for 13th position. They're going to go side by side through in towards turn 9 and 10. That's Cuba having a bit of a lag issue there, I think. Hence why Leo sent it, pushed Cuba off track there down at turn 9. And they make contact, and that's Leo Lund round down at turn 10. After making a bit of contact there with the FER of Cuba Trashiak. And we go through now in towards lap 2, and we'll look at the ERS, and there lots burned for most of the drivers on that first lap, down at 50% already. But great start then from Sergio, immediately putting pressure on Keedon, getting through. Mraviak having that issue, but I think Keedon did let off to let him have that position back, as obviously that was, I believe, Keedon at fault. And obviously now he's 2 seconds behind Tima. This is definitely how Tima would have wanted this race to start off. As we now go through, Roche looking to gain on Lopez. He's had a great start, moving from 11th up to 3rd. We'll look at the position changes after lap 1. And we can see there. So 3 moved up for Tony, 2 up for Floris and Andres, 3 for Sergio. Great start from him there. We've got a battle between Jack and Matty. Jack having a great start, moving up to 17th, having a fight with Matty for 18th there. And obviously we've got Andre down by 6 after having that issue down at turn 3. Tumas down by 3 as well. He must have had an issue with someone at lap 1. Maurice moving up 3 positions. He avoided all the contacts. Must have been down at turn 3 with the guys behind. And we've still got Matty and Lewis fighting at the final corner. Let's see what happens between those as they come through up in towards turn 1. And we've also got, I believe, one of the JRs there. That's Leo Lund moving out the way there, trying to break the slipstream of the cars ahead. As we now head out of turn 1, and Lewis gaining on the back of Matty, but it's not going to be enough unless it is down into turn 3. Will we see a send from Lewis? No, we don't. He's 6 behind, wants to get that DRS advantage, as that will open this lap. Now we've got Mraviak under hunt from Sergio. Sergio obviously doing well in qualifying for Monza, but unfortunately had an issue on lap 1, I believe, with one of the, I think it might have been one of the PSRs or the TF10s, I'm not quite sure. But he unfortunately dropped basically to the back of the field and didn't finish well at all. But obviously looking to amend that today. And Keedon, also race winner from last week at Monza, also P3 sitter at Silverstone, looking to get himself back onto the podium for a 3rd consecutive race. Sitting at 10th behind Sergio, you can see he's got a lot more pace, but at the moment can't make it through. He's going to have to get him down towards turn 3. That's his only real opportunity, in my opinion. And the issue that this track poses, his track limits are very harsh. So we could see some of the top guys unintentionally get these track limits warnings, which is not what they want at all. As we now come through, Keedon looking for a move on Sergio round the outside up at turn 2. Sergio's got the inside line. Sergio basically lets Keedon through. He's like, actually, I'm not going to fight that. I'd rather keep the DRS and not lose it to Franek. Oh, bit of a touch, though, from Primoz there on the back of Sergio. That drops Sergio back a few tenths. And this also allows Primoz now to have a run at Sergio then into turn 4. Surely he won't send it from this far back. Let's see if he does. No, he doesn't. He backs off, knowing that's not the move for him just yet. Also got some battling side by side. This is Tony Richet and Andres Lopez. Tony looking for 7th on Lopez there going through and just can't make it work yet. He's going to have to try and fight it a bit more if he wants to get through on the Parnell guy. But obviously Parnell sitting down in 7th in the championship on 7 points. The 4th and 7th will be really, really good for them. But we'll see what Tony can do. He's still going to be applying more pressure on Andres as they come through now, down in towards turn 9 and 10. Obviously, Tony starting in 11th, having a great start. Randall not having the best start at all, not making any positions at all. So he's going to have to, well, if he wants to get points, he's got to gain at least 3 positions. There we are. Caden Lutz goes quickest with the 7.2. Randall says, actually, no, I want to go quickest and does a 7.1. We'll have to see what Caden can do if he wants to try and put some pressure on Franek and try and catch back up to Tima, because at the moment, Tima's doing some great pace, leading the pack, controlling it perfectly. 2.3 seconds ahead of second. Obviously, ETEC would love a win at this point. They'd really want that, and it could help them charge up the championship. And Cuba having a great start as well. He's on the back of Yoris. This is down at turn 4. Yoris having, I believe, to just let Cuba through at turn 3. There's a charge down in towards turn 4. So we got another collision, no, contact, nearly contact actually, between Tumas and Tony. This is for 8th. Obviously, Tumas was under pressure from Molnar, and Tony was under pressure from Tumas. And originally, it was Andres under pressure from Tony. So everyone applying pressure on each different driver every single lap. Changing it up. Keaton still in the back of Franek though as they head through into 9 and 10. 4 tenths between the two. 2 tenths actually between Primoz and Sergio. Seems Sergio's able to not have the best raw pace, but he's able to just to hold on. We've had a collision. That's Bose. That's him round at turn 9. Either having contact with someone or just losing the rear down at 9. It's a very common place to lose the rear, so that could have just been a fault of his own. As we now head through up in towards turn 3. Let's see, does Keaton try and pose a threat on Franek? Not just yet, but could try and look for a move down to turn 4. The gap increasing ever so slightly, just to 2.4 seconds between Tima and Franek Moraviak as we now head down in towards turn 4. 2 tenths between Tumas and Tony. They're having a bit of a battle still of their own for 8th position. Lopez now trying to gain back into Flores. Flores gaining on Primoz. Obviously, Flores having a great start as well. Started down, I think, in 9th, moved up to 6th. So that is the start he would have definitely wanted, and it's worked out well. Obviously, TSM were looking really, really, really strong in Monza, but the VSC that came out ruined their strategy for them. So, unfortunately, they wasn't able to get the result they would have wanted. They was looking for a 2nd, 3rd, maybe a 3rd, 4th, but unfortunately finished 5th and 6th. So, dropped considerably a few positions down. But Flores and Tumas hopefully going to try and make that a bit better today. We've got a bit of a close to contact there between Keaton and Franek. Coming out to turn 1 and 2. Now charging down towards turn 3. The gap's 2 tenths, 2.5 tenths. And Keaton doesn't go for it yet. I think now Keaton's main goal is, right, team is a bit further up. We just aim for 2nd so far. Because second's better than fighting for, right, 2nd is better than just going through on Franek and then trying to burn the gap down to Tima, burning your tyres, burning your battery. Then Franek's like, actually, because you used all that power, I'll just re-overtake you and take 2nd back easily. So for now, Keaton's plan will be just to sit behind Leach on the back of Franek for the DRS. Just pull himself along, which is what they want, and hopefully they can work together, try and pull themselves a bit closer to team. We've had another collision. That's one of the WOR drivers. That's Lewis. Down at the exit of turn 8. Obviously get very close there to Bose, who obviously started on the mediums. Bit of a different strategy to the others. It's been a head out. You can see a bit of dark cloud at the top of turn 3 at the top of the hill, but I don't think it will affect them too much. I think that should be fine. And I don't think we'll see much rain at all this session. Any engineers of the drivers, let us know in the chat. Is rain scheduled? If so, when? Because that could definitely change up the outcome of the race, could change up the outcome of the pit stops, and the pit stop strategies. And Liam says no. So we had the scare of rain at one point. The scare of rain is now left. So we will get a dry race here at Austria. I don't think we've had any wet races properly yet, have we? In this season so far. Oh, and there we are. Keaton getting really close to the back of Franek there, nearly touching the back of him as they come through into turn 6 and 7 now. As we come through out to turn 8, you can see all the cars rushing, trying and catch back to Zelenkiewicz, but Zelenkiewicz, the gap went down to 2.1. He's like, actually, you know what? I don't like it at 2.1. I like it at 2.3. We'll just, stretch a few tenths back, and yet again more spins down at turn 8. Maximilian Lukert That's down. Actually, that's a bit of a weird place to spin. It looks like he's spinning the exit. And Lewis again spinning. Obviously, with the warmer, well, really hot tyres, you can lose the rear easily. And now going through, back up towards turn 3. So, WR having a poor race. So is QRT. 17th, 20th, 16th, 19th. And Keedon looking for a move up the inside of front of Mravak. This is down at turn 3. 4-second position. Is he going to get it to work? I think he might there. And also that's Sergio. Has he got an issue or has he just been hit yet again by the back of Primoz? I think he just got hit there. And we've also got Floris looking for a move now on Primoz McLavchich. 5th position down into turn 4. But he's got a bit of a blockade from Sabrino and Floris has a half spin there. That allows Primoz to get back through, but Floris still going to try and charge him, but can't just yet. And turn 4 has caused many issues so far, but Floris having that half spin after hitting the back of Sergio makes it through perfectly fine for now. And luckily no issues so far, but Franek now drops back to outside 1 second to Keedon, so he must have had an issue. And we've also got Primoz trying to get on Sergio, so now this is what Keedon would have wanted. Keep that gap ahead of a second of Franek, so we might see him burn a little bit more just to get this gap ahead of what it should be, ahead of the DRS range, and we can see now this train growing. It's 1.6 tenths, 1.8 tenths between Primoz and Sergio. We could see a possible move, yes again, down into turn 3, but this isn't the first time Primoz has hit the back of someone going turn into turn 3. So Sergio might be a bit worried about what could happen yet again. And Floris obviously looking for an opportunity on the back of Primoz. That was down at turn 4, but because of Sergio blocking the way, Floris couldn't really send it because, well, we saw what happened. He did hit the back of Sergio from minor contact, spin yet again from Lewis down at the exit at turn 10. So you can see his tyres just not working in his favour at all. And once you get that kind of demotivation from having that one spin, your race kind of fails. And I guarantee you'll spin again on this lap because it's just, you know, that motivation and, you know, just goes out the window. And we now go through in towards turn 6 and 7. So Floris obviously looking for a move last lap. Couldn't get it done, can't get it done this lap either. Sergio still trying to now leech off the back of Franek for DRS. As you can see, Keedon has used his DRS, used about 30% of it there to grow the gap between him and Franek, and also try and start to close the gap between him and Tima. You can see Tima's burning as well because he knows Keedon is right on his tail as they head now out to turn 10. Also, we've got Floris trying to gain yet again on Primoz, not close enough. The gap's 3 tenths. If he wants to get through, he's got to be at least a tenth or a half a tenth at least to be able to be eligible enough to send a dive on. Sergio could be looking to try and gain on the back of Franek, but he's not. He's losing time, if anything, down that straight. And we've got Primoz on the back of him as they head through into turn 3. You can see Sergio there just not gaining much time at all. Gain 2 tenths down that DRS straight. Sun drivers can gain 5 or 6 tenths down that straight down towards turn. So we've got Joris and Cuba fighting this for 11th place side by side down in towards turn 4, nearly making contact between the two. Which one's going to stay ahead? Is it FVR or is it NLR as they head into turn 4? Joris trying to break later there. Oh, that's Cuba trying to squeeze him in a little bit there. And Treshek has to back off there. As Joris gets the outside line, Cuba has to let off and out. Can't do anything about it as they go through into turn 6. So there, nice move from Joris, putting himself into 11th place. His next target is Molnar, who's up in 10th. You can see they're having a bit of a slide through turn 8. Molnar's losing time, losing a lot of time there to the back of Tumas. Could be a possibility for NLR to sneak a point in from ETA. Obviously, ETA starting near the top, and obviously Molnar dropping all the way down to 10th. Not what he wanted at all, but it helps. PSR. And Sergio, sorry for the yawn there. That was really rude from me. Being alone doesn't really help. Joshua Birch, obviously, hopefully all is well. Not with us today. We'll be back next week, hopefully. And yeah, sorry for the yawn. I've had a busy day. First day back at college since 3 weeks. So it has been a busy weekend, busy day. Doesn't help when you don't get along with half the tutors there at all. But now, enough of that. Back to the racing. Tony Richet looking for a move on Andres into turn 4. Just can't get it done, can he? He's, you know, once you're in this DRS train, you're at the point where it's like the only people who get a move are the ones who have got no DRS in front of them. So, for example, Sergio, he can get a move done because there's no DRS for Franek. And Franek can't defend at all, really, when you've got that powerful DRS. And the real battles we'll see is out of the pit lane. So once we go to medium tyres, that's where we'll see the main battles. As we now head yet again out of turn 10 up towards turn 1. Floris is still looking to hunt down Primoz. Can't get anything done just yet. He had that one strike down at turn 4, and it's kind of, he's either just sat back from it since then or just thinking, actually, you know what? We don't want to bother fighting him. Because to be fair, they would have lost time there. And we're at 13 laps out of 36, so just over about 35% mark now. heading towards the 50% mark of the race. As we head down in towards turn 4, top 3 still consists of Timo Zelenkiewicz, Keedan Lutz, and Franek Moraviak. Obviously, Sergio Sprino sitting in 4th, and I did go up to 3rd but dropped down. Then he's got Primoz Miklavčić right behind, followed by Floris Fires, Andres Lopez, Tony Richet, Tumis Lemonen, and then Andre Molnar is the top 10. Then obviously we got Joris, Cuba, Jensen, Leo, Matti, Jack, Maurice, Bose, Maximilian, and Lewis. The final score, well, the final finishers. The only people to score points are the people in the top 10. And obviously flicking back to the championship stands, we'll have a quick look at them now while we're here. And obviously going into the race, Shazoo were leading by 4 points. At the moment it looks like it's going to be overwritten by PSR heavily, as they were 4 points behind there. Luckily they're now looking for a 2nd and 5th. TF10, 6th and 9th, they're looking to be pretty consistent as usual. NLR on 20 points, they're not really going to gain much as both of their cars are outside the top 10. ET8, 1 point behind NLR, they're currently 1st, so they're going to look to get a big jump in the standings. FVR, they're 3rd and 12th, so they're having a pretty solid race, could look to try and jump NLR. Parnell, 4th and 7th, so they're going to look to easily get some more points. They're on 7 at the moment. They're going to look to at least get double what they did in the last round. And then unfortunately still Juventus, QRT and WR are going to score no points at all, which is not what they want. It would be nice if we can get every team to score points, but always, we don't always get that gift. And the gap now between Franek and Keedan, 2.7. Looking up, Keedan's 1.1 to Tima. So Tima's advantage, which we thought was OP at the start, it's working its way down and down and down. Now to 1.1, obviously Keedan using a lot of ERS, so is Tima, so none of them are really much of an advantage. Tima's got 10% better battery, but chances are he'll have to burn that to defend. Both say Pitsy will be going onto hard tyres now, as this is around the normal pit time for the mediums onto hards. Obviously everyone else on the hards won't pit to, I believe, around lap 18, 19, maybe a little bit later, I'm not quite sure. As we go through now, Keedan's going to try and gain a little bit more to get into the DRS of team, and the gap's 1.1. He's got to get a 10th and a half to try and get through. And yeah, we can see that advantage that Keedan's got. He's got what? 2.8 seconds over Franek Moraviak. Sergio sitting within 3/10, so he's comfortably looking to hunt for that podium. Obviously a P2 and P1 now for those are a bit out of reach because of the gap's 3 seconds. It's quite a large gap indeed, and now we can see Keedan under pressure, nearly less than a 10th. It is less than a 10th, barely as they come through in towards turn 9 and 10. As we go through into turn 1, Silk Keedan on the hunt for the DRS, can't get it just yet, but he's going to gain a little bit down this straight, not enough to get back into the 1 second, but it's crucial. If you want to get this win, he's got to get back into the second to at least lurch himself along. We've also got side-by-side action, this in between Tony Richet and Andres Lopez. This is for 7th position. Tony going up the inside, Andres around the outside. Which one's going to stay ahead? I think it might be Tony. Yes, it is, but then we've got a better line run out for Andres. Can he try and get Tony down into turn 4? It's going to be close. No, he can't, because Tony just stretches the gap just over 0.2 of a second. As we head now through back into turn 4, AMS Lewis gets a 3-second time penalty. So he's basically out the race now. He's 8 seconds back off P19, 14 seconds back off P18, 24 seconds back off P17. And the unfortunate part for Lewis is he's not pitted. The person who's 8 seconds ahead has. And we'll just have a look at the gap to leader. So there we are, everyone within 9 seconds in the top 15, all keeping with them in this train. Well, 3rd to 9. Oh, we've had pits. I thought someone spun then. Dear me, no, we just got people pitting. Tumas Lemonen, the first of them all to think actually we'll pit. Go for a bit of a different strategy to the others. We've also got Leo Lund in the pit lane as well. He's pitting onto some medium tyres. So then now in the next 3 or 4 laps, that's where we should see all the drivers onto mediums. And the undercut or overcut, we'll see which one works. And Keedan, within 0.8 of Tima, he's got the DRS this time around, so Tima's gap has shrunk from 3 seconds to 0.8. So we can see Keedan's got a lot of pace, and if he can win again, that'd be a back-to-back win for PSR, back-to-back win for Keedan Lutz, and will easily look to secure them that first in the championship for now. Obviously Richet down in 7th, Jensen in 12th, not ideal at all for those 3 at all, not going to take him many points at all. Home. And still, Moraviak, he's been chilling where he is now. He's not really getting much to Keaton, but he's not lost much really at all to Sergio. They're just kind of sitting there chilling, not fighting too hard. But Franek decides to pit, and so does Tony Richet and Andre Molnar. So the rest of them all staying out as they come through into turn 1. We'll see even more pit stops happen this lap. Could see one of the top 3 pit this lap as well. But a collision, that's someone round. I think that's one of the QRTs. We've also got a battle between Floris and Primoz. This is yet again for 4th. Floris sent it up the inside there, nearly has a spin. Bit of an ambitious dive bomb there from Floris. Don't know what the point of that was. And he's now being overtaken by Andres Lopez, who goes through the AI there of Floris. So Floris now losing a bit of time, giving himself a bit of a disadvantage there as they head through into turn 4. Lopez now looking to make it 3rd, 5th. For PR will technically be a 4th, 6th because of the pit stops ahead. The gap 3.4, so Sergio starting to claw down the gap a little bit to Keaton Lute. And obviously it's just because Franek just didn't have that pace to keep up with Keaton at all. And also Andres now 1 second out to Primoz. Could be a good opportunity for Floris if he can get himself through on Andres. None of them decide to pit. Sergio Sabrino does decide to pit though. Oh, big side, that's Andres Lopez round. Down at turn 10, has hit the curb, gone around. Let's see, has he lost his front wing? Because it could be possible. We need to try and scroll to him. Has he lost his front wing? No, he's not. So that was a close one, but not what he would have wanted at all. Really, really poor there. And yeah, was on stream, so not what PR would have wanted on stream at all. Definitely not good for the PR of Parnell. And there we are, fastest laps flying through now. Because the pit stops all coming into play. So they go down in towards turn 4. Now we've got Tima and Keaton fighting for P1. This is P1 at the moment, and 4 tenths between them. We'll have to hope they don't fight too hard, or it could help out Franek Raviak, and Maximilian there gets a penalty. 3 seconds. As he drops behind Maurice Faith. Sorry, no, drops behind Lewis. There we are. That is Tima pitting. Keaton not going to pit, and he has to be careful there not to hit the back of the Mercedes as they come through. Does Primoz decide to pit? No, he doesn't. He stays out. Actually, he does pit, and I wasn't sure if the are you allowed to pit the cut the pit entry in this track? So I don't know if you are, and I presume you are because Andres has done the exact same thing. I know that in a few leagues you're not allowed to, but let's know in the chat. Are you allowed to cut the pit lane? Because I wasn't aware if you were or not, because every league has it different. Both same, gets a 3 second time penalty. Not what he would have wanted at all, but he's down in the bottom 4, so it doesn't really matter what penalties he gets because he won't finish in the points anyway. And we'll see now what happens between Tima and Franek. So Franek comes out a few seconds behind, 2 seconds behind Tima. And Moraviak under pressure now from Tony Richet into turn 3. Tony 6 behind, will want to get him down to turn 4. We've also got Lamanen on the back of Sabrino. There we are, Franek yet again having a bit of an issue there. That could be due to contact with Tony. Tony there wiggling about. And he can't get a move just yet, can he? Into turn 4. No, he can't. We've also got Maloney there. Oh, I don't know why Jack's fighting Tima. Don't know what the knee was to there. Has a bit of a slide. Could be an issue for Franek, though, as Franek is coming back on Maloney very quickly. The gap's about a second. And then we have Keaton deciding to now pit on lap 20 of 36. Mavriak within 7 tenths of the WR driver. Floris and Cuba saying it a lot longer than the others. Obviously, Floris might be hoping for a bit of battling. Could try and gain in time if they battle hard, but not got much battling just yet as we now head through, down in towards turn 1. And where does Keaton come out? Does he come out ahead of Tima? Yes, he does. Because of the issue Tima had with Jack Maloney, it's lost him a little bit of time, lost him a few tenths. We've also got Moraviak getting through on Maloney. What about Tony Richet? Can he get through? Yes, he can, but oh no, Maloney's got to fight him though. This is not good for Tony, or is it good for Sergio? Because Sergio's going to have to try and work his way through. So is Lamanen. Jack trying to do a bit of a Daniel Haddad, but just hasn't got the skill to try and do it as good as him. As we go down into turn 4, don't know why Maloney's trying to fight any of these, because there's no point. He's just losing time, and it just makes everyone else lose time. Lamanen there having to move out of the way. Primoz looking to try and get through as well, and Maloney going to try and cut him off, but Primoz just go through. Maloney still fighting up the inside, trying to fight Primoz. Primoz gets through. Leo Lunde trying to get through as well. He's obviously looking to get some points. Great pit stop there from Leo, pitting earlier than the others. Looking to get himself into the top 10. Can he get himself into the top 10? I think he will. As he gets through on Jack Maloney there, down at turn 9, and keeps himself into 10th. Right there from Leo Lund, looking further up, Zelenkiewicz. Now trying to go through on Keeden. Look down at well, not down at turn 1. It'll be down at turn 3 theoretically. Yoris, its fastest lap is 6.063. Trashiak still staying out. Floris comes out in 13th. That's really not worked out for him at all. Moraviak and Tony Richet fighting for 3rd as they come through. And does Tony Richet get ahead? Yes, he does. Tony Richet now into 3rd position provisionally. And I've just realised how much that has worked out. We've had a spin. That is Bose down at turn 1. But yeah, I've just realised how much this has worked out for Richet. Because obviously Cuba's got to pit and he won't come out ahead of any of these. Richet's gone from 11th to 3rd so far. So technically has a chance of still trying to hold it off for Chazot. Trying to hold off this first position. Flores gets a 3-second time penalty. It's really not working out for Flores Fires at all. Looking great in qualifying. Moved up to 6th in the race. Pitted a bit too late. He's now got to drop behind Matty. Will finish 14th if it stays like it does. And Cuba now into the pit lane. So we'll have everyone come through. And this will be the final order, technically, between the top 10. It will be Leo Lund getting himself into the top 10. Could be looking to get JR into some points as we come through. And we have Trashiak pitting there, Richet and Keeden. Keeden obviously now looking to try and get through on Tima's. Tima got through on him down on the last lap. Now in towards turn 3. Keeden letting off for now, not looking to pressure too much of a move. Doesn't want to lose time to Richet. Lewis gets another 3-second time penalty. Definitely not his race. He's going to head through in towards turn 4, and the battles are starting to get feisty. Nothing confirmed just yet in terms of where people will finish in the race, because you might think, actually, you know what? He is ahead, surely he wins, but for all we know, Frank Raviak could come out of nowhere and win. We don't know at all. We're going to head through in towards turn 1. We have 3.8 tenths between Tima and Keeden. Maximilian gets a penalty. Is Keeden close enough to make a move? No, he's not. He sits back for now. We can see he's just trying to get Tony's race. Yeah, Tony's racing for Chazot, but I've got an issue for some reason. Tony's name doesn't even show up. So he's got the Chazot, which is missing, and his little apostrophe on the E. So I don't know. We've had this issue every time I stream over Tony. We've always got this issue with his name not showing correctly up on my Steam. I've tried changing it out about on Steam. I've tried actually just copying his actual Steam name into his nickname, and that hasn't worked. I don't actually know what's up with it at all. Really weird indeed. But Keeden still looking to hunt down Tima. Tony, we still can't call him out to this battle, but he has got 3 lap older tyres than Keeden, so it could put him at a bit of a disadvantage on the final few laps. We've got 12 laps to go. And yeah, you can't blame Tony for this, because Tony has got the right name and Steam. It's just for some reason my Steam wants to say no. You can have the wrong one. We head now into turn 1. Primoz looking to hunt down Tumas, Lamanen, Flores moving himself up to 11th. Now got to try and pressure Richet. Oh, not Richet. Yoris. Talking about Richet is when we forget his name. Oh, hang on, we've got to move at the top. We got Keeden, look, getting through on Zelenkiewicz there. Then at turn 3, I missed that one thanks to Flores going for a charge on Yoris. We missed that one. We head down to turn 3. The gap's 3 tenths. Can't even try and fight back into turn 4. No, we can't. So Keeden, look, takes the provisional lead of the race. With 11 laps to go, it could stay the same, but it could all change. Richet looking to try and hunt down Zelenkiewicz for now. Zelenkiewicz's main issue is if Richet can get better pace and get through, because Richet is gaining. The gap's 2 tenths, 3 tenths now as they come through in towards turn 9s and 10. Look further down, we've got Primoz looking to pressure Tumas Lonan for 6th place. Someone hitting the grass there, said at turn 10. I don't know who that was, but someone obviously taken for a little jump over the dirt and the gravel trap. Well, grass trap, I suppose you could say. What's happened here? Because someone's moved over. That is Frank Moraviak under pressure from Sergio Sobrino. This is for 4th. Sergio obviously not getting the race he would have wanted in Monza, but he's trying to get it now in Austria. There we have Yoris and Andre Molnar fighting for 9th and 10th. Molnar trying to get through and Yoris can't do so. So great move there from Yoris. But actually, we have a fight back from Andre. Does he send it into the inside at turn 4? Go for it. No, he doesn't. He sits back for now. So doesn't want to pose any more risks than he's already got. In the race. Let's have a quick drink. My throat is dry as hell. Go through here. And we go through in towards turn 9. Oh, we got a bit of close to contacts here. Primoz and Tumas trying to get their little fight for 6th and 7th. Obviously, Tumas having a great start. Kind of sat in no man's land throughout the race. Hasn't really been involved in much at all. Primoz, however, looking to try and get through. Wants to help his teammates. Obviously, Keaton in 1st. Primoz down in 7th. We go through. We've also got Floris gaining on Andre Molnar. Can he get through? Maximum yet again with the penalty. And also now we go through up towards the top of the hill. Floris, better pace than Andre. Gets through the inside there and down in towards turn 3. Can he get it? And I think he will, because also we've got Tumas and Primoz fighting. This is down at turn 3. Big slide there from Tumas. This allows Primoz to get a bit of an inside manoeuvre, possibly on Tumas, but backs out the last second. Does he send it down into turn 4? No, he doesn't. He goes for a dummy, tries to send Tumas wide, does so. Now he's going to try and fight back into turn 6, but doesn't have the traction on the exit to do so. So now 6 behind, and Tumas defending perfectly for that 6th position. We've also got Maloney Andres Lopez fighting. That's for 14th. Lopez, don't know what happened to him. Oh no, he had that spin, didn't he? That's what happened to Lopez. He had the spin down at turn 10. Otherwise, he would have been fighting with his pack up in the top 5. But unfortunately, fate decided to meet him. And pretty much you can see he's got better pace than Tumas, but just Tumas can defend very, very well. And just nothing Primoz can do to fight it back. As we head now down in towards turn 1. Well, lap 28.36, 8 laps left to go. So time is ticking down. People have got to get those moves done sooner or later. And now let's see, because Primoz is gaining. He's got the ERS, he's got the DRS, he's got the possible inside line. He goes for the inside line. Does he send it? Yes, he does. On Tumas. Can he get it done this time? He couldn't last time, but I think he is this time. Can he get it done? I think he will. Big start for Tumas, and there we are. Primoz moving up into 6th. This could be an opportunity for Leo Lund. Great charge from him now, looking to try and take 7th. Off of Tumas into turn 4. Can he get it done? But Tumas is going to touch it up the inside. Need a bit of contact there between the two. That's a close one. And I think Leo's got it done. Yes, he has. Leo having a great start. We'll look at the position change, because we've had many changes up and down the grid. Leo Lund moving up 10. Tony Richet moving up 8. 6 down for Bose. 5 down for Lopez. 8 down for Molnar. So lots of moves up and lots of moves down on the grid. Obviously, everyone having one stop so far. But Tony Richet, currently my driver of the day, and Leo Lund in a close second. Sergio Sobrino gets a 3-second time penalty. That is all what Sergio didn't want, and not well at all. That could drop him now down to 9th position, or maybe even lower, depending on where the gap is to people behind. And we go through. Joris now looking to try and pressure Tumas, and this is the issue now Tumas has. These medium tyres, 3 laps older than everyone else's. It puts him at a big disadvantage now in towards turn 3. We've also got Floris getting involved, going defensive now. There we are, Joris up the inside. Does Floris try and get 2 of them? He's going to try and get Joris. Bit of teamwork so far from the TF10s are going nearly 3 wide. Down in towards turn 4. And surely Tumas will let Floris through, because he knows Floris is quicker. We'll have to see. Does he let Floris through? Yes, he does. And we've also got Joris trying to pose a move on Tumas. Can't get it done just yet, but they're side by side. Going out of turn 4 into turn 5. Who's going to make it work? Because Floris there blocks Joris off, so Joris can't make the move. TF10 doing very similar tactics to what they did last week. And that's wondering, that's Joris' spun out. Oh, that had a bit of contact, or just lost it on the curb there between the TF10s. And TF10s putting Joris under a bit of pressure there. And obviously Joris' car didn't want that pressure at all and just spun. And Joris now, Tony Richet trying to hunt down on Tima. Tima trying to hunt down on Keaton. This gap at the top getting closer, exceeds. Closer again, you know, it just keeps changing every single lap. 1 minute they're right behind each other. Next minute there's about nearly 2 seconds between them both. But bad there for Joris. Has to pit as well. So could have suffered a bit of damage. But yeah, big shame there for Joris. Really, really big shame. As he was looking really solid to get some points for NLR. And Leo Lund though. And all we've had an incident is that Tumas and Andre fighting. Yes, it is out of turn 3. Bit of a slide there. Could be a bit of contact between Tumas and Andre. Andre can't get through on this occasion. But you can see Tumas' tyres a lot older, same as Leo Lund's, could easily put them at a disadvantage. And you can look, Tumas is on 13-lap-old tyres. Cuba is on 7 laps. So this could help you, Cuba. Joris, he had a spin, exit of where Andre is now at turn 6. Hit the curve there and just lost it, I think. There might have been contact, but I'm not too sure because I didn't see it. I didn't see it fully. Floris now hunting down Leo Lund. to try and get himself that 7th position. And obviously, he has got pelted, so he will drop back down the field. And Cuba has got the gap closing down 1.3 now. Then into turn 1, Flores gaining on the back of Leo. This could be a move, this could be an easy move for Flores. So I think it is an easy move for Flores as he gets the inside line. Actually, no, Leo's going to fight back. Then into turn 3, Flores breaks later with the better tyres. 5-lap old, newer tyres for Flores. And he gets through into 7th position. Now we've got Molnar still chasing down Laminen. Last time they got here, it was very, very close because they made contact. This time, look at this speed from Andre. It just flies past Tumas. Look at they're getting a 5-second penalty for speed in the pit lane. And there we are. Bit of defensive action there from Molnar. Can Tumas fight back? No, he can't. So now he drops himself down to 10th. He allows Cuba to try and gain himself back into this 1 second gap. The gap's just under a second now. Matthew also within 6/10 of Cuba. So this gap getting down, and you can see now the advantage that the newer tyres have over the older ones. The guys in the top 4 should be relatively safe on the newer tyres because it's going to take a bit of work to get through the field for these newer tyre runners. But Cuba within 6/10, he's going to be looking to try and get through on Tumas soon. Obviously, it would be nice if you can get yourself through, because at the moment, if you can get yourself through on Molnar, try and gain on the back of Leo, could get yourself 2 positions, could move yourself up into possibly 6th or 5th. No, it would be 7th. So that would be really good for FVR, but Cuba's just got to make it work. As they come through now, down in towards turn 3. Love to see these 3... Love to see these names. So you'd have Lut, L-U-T, Zell, Rick, Moore, Sob, Mick, Widge, or the Vise, everyone calls him, Lun, Mol, Lamb, Trz, Matt, Lop, Fat. Oh, well, that's a controversial one. Fat, Ran, Boss, Jaw, Mol, Look, and Lou. So some very interesting ones as we come through now. And Cuba, 3/10 now between him and Tumas. So you can see Tumas' tyres are dying ever so slightly. We have Yoris getting through on both sides with the soft compound of tyres. Going down in towards turn 1. The gap's 8/10 between Molnar and Cuba. And it's 3/10 between Cuba and Tumas as they come out of turn 3. Well, turn 1, let's see. Cuba's going to push hard. He wants to get through because the tyre gap between Tumas and Cuba is 6/10 of... He's 6 laps old, and into turn 3. Cuba sends it, ambitious, pushes Tumas off track there. That's the controversial one. Could be going to the shoes after that. This allows Matty to try and get an opportunity there, but Tumas will not be happy with that one. And Matty will be loving this because he's going to try and get a move down into turn 4. Backs off, probably hoping that, has a bit of a lock-up though. I think he was hoping that Tumas would have sent it on Cuba, and they would have been able to get on the few of them there. But Cuba being a bit ambitious there and getting through on Tumas. That will definitely be seen by the shoes, I think. They basically did what I think was what Norris did to Albon, or the other way around, back in 2021 or 2020. Well, it might have been 2022, not sure when, but it was some year at Austria. Turn 3, Norris sent Albon wide. But we go through now. Primoz gaining on Sabrina. The gap 7/10 between Sabrina and Franek. And Franek, you can see now, just starting to lose touch of that 1 second gap to Tony. Needs to keep it within a second because it's 9/10. That's not what he would have wanted at all. As we go through, down in towards turn 3. Cuba on the back of Andre Molnar, looking to get through the inside. Let's hope he doesn't repeat what he did last time. He doesn't repeat what he did last time. He makes it through the corner perfectly fine and goes a little bit deep, gets the corner done. Doesn't get DRS, but I don't think Andre can really fight that back too much. Then to turn 3. No, he turns to turn 4. No, he can't. We had a penalty. That is, I believe, someone at the bottom. That might have been Lopez. I think you've got a penalty. And Franek outside the 1 second gap, so crucial now for Sergio. Crucial also for Primoz to try and get something done. If Primoz can get through on Sergio, then he can try and hunt down Moraviak. Could possibly be a P4 for Primoz. Would be nice to get a P1, P4 for PSR. And coming out of turn 1. You can see now, because of this DRS train, the advantage that you have. Franek's lost 5/10 on that, 6/10 on that previous lap, so he's just going to lose so much time to the people ahead. And now Sergio's going to have to look for a move sooner or later and get through on Franek. We had an incident. Well, hang on, we're on lap 35-36. I didn't notice that one. Let's look further at the top because we've got Zelenkiewicz and Caden look fighting for P1. And let's see who comes out ahead. Caden does for now, but Teamer obviously leading by 3 seconds after lap 1. He surely wants to try and secure this win yet again. It goes a little bit deep though into turn 6, losing them about a couple of tenths of time. Richet also going to be looking to try and pick up pieces if these two collide. And we go through. Now down in towards turn 9 and 10. We've got 1 lap to go. This is the end of the penultimate lap of the race. So whatever these newer tyre runners have done on these few laps, they've got to make sure they can keep it now. On this final lap, let's see. Can Keedon keep it from Teamer? Can Teamer get through and Keedon and try and take the win? And can Tony even try and take the two of them down in this final lap? Franek 2 seconds back could be possible from Sergio to try and get through. And also Primoz, depending on the type of speed that Franek has down the straight lines. We've had someone round. That's Jensen Randall down at turn 8. Looks like a bit of a Hamilton manoeuvre. And he's just spun, lost it down at turn 8. Nothing he could do there. And he's sitting on the track. So that's one Shizou down. One Shizou still perfectly intact. We've got Primoz getting through in front of there. Franek dropping many positions down at turn 3. He's down to 7th. And can we get Teamer through on Keedon? No, we can't. But Keedon goes a bit deep there. But still, very bad opportunity for overtaking there. So that isn't going to allow Zelenkiewicz to get through. Then to the final few corners. I think it's time for Keedon to take the win. I think it's pretty much done and dusted. We've got battles left, right and centre. We've got Floris fighting with Primoz. Primoz has got through on Floris there. And we watch team. Oh, Jensen's retired in the pit lane on the last lap. Not what he wanted at all. But we go through into the final corner. Keedon got the win in Monza. He wins in Spa and he wins in Austria as he comes up to the line and he takes the win. Great race there. Team Zelenkiewicz when it's going into second after leading after lap 1. Heartbreak for him, as he would have wanted that win, he would have deserved it. And Richet finishing in 3rd. Then we have Moraviak in 4th. And then we have Primoz having a great race as well up to 5th. Sabrino into 6th. Leo Lund having a great comeback as well into 7th. Floris in 8th, obviously having that comeback with a 3-second time penalty. Would have lost time and dropped down to 8th. Kuba Tresiak in the points P9. Andre Molnar just about securing that 10th position from Lamananu finishing 11th. Then we have Mati, Lopez, Yoris, who's going to come across the line now. Spins. Oh, he's spun. Is this going to allow Maurice way through? Yes, it does. Maurice gets through on Yoris at the final corner there. And Maloney got to come through to take P16. And then the grid will slowly cross line. But big shame there for Randall. Losing it on the final couple of corners down at turn 8. But great there from Caden. And also great battle there from Teamer trying to get through. But just couldn't get it done. And Lewis gets another 3-second penalty. So that's about 30 penalties to add to his final race time after today. And we'll see if we can get someone in for an interview. We should be able to. Actually, no, we'll look at the results first. That's probably the best thing to do. There we are, the Österreich. I think it's the Österreich ring, which it was known as before. It's had many different names. The Red Bull ring, the Österreich ring. I think it was something like the Austrian ring at one point as well. But we're just loading now so we can see the results. I don't care about the podium because no one cares about the F1 game podium because it's that glitchy. It's beyond belief. And we can see there, Keedon with the back-to-back wins. So great there from the Finnish driver to finish first in 2 races in a row. Then Timo Zelenkiewicz comes home second. Great comeback from him. Obviously starting on pole, dropped into second. Just tried to fight for that first, but couldn't get it done. But Tony Richet, in my eyes, driver of the day. 11th to 3rd. Great. Then we have Moraviak 2nd to 4th. We have Primoz, Sergio, Leo, Floris, Cuba and Andre. That's our points finishers today. In the top 10, we have Tumas just about finishing outside the top 10. We have Matti, Andres, Maurice, Yoris, Maloney, Bose, Lewis, Maximilian, and then obviously Randall, who retired on the final lap of the race. Which is a big shame. But great race, great action. But obviously that's what you expect around a track at Austria. And my eyes really tired. I was actually falling asleep near the end there because it got a really hot room and heat for some reason makes me tired. But enough about that. Enough about the chatting absolute crap. We'll get Keedon into the interview room to get him in to have a chat. Need to find him. Hang on. There he is. Keedon, welcome in.
Hello.
So obviously second win in a row. Great. There. Obviously this time you didn't have to fight a 5-second penalty. So that would have applied a little bit of less pressure. Obviously lap 1. What happened with you and Franek? Because you kind of lost like 3 seconds to Tima.
Well, I guess the beauty of this game once again showed its like true colors as, you know, the contact model. I reckon the connection between me and Franek is not that good. So I think there was a like slight tap literally the slightest of taps, and it almost half spun him. And I decided to let him go because I didn't feel like it would be right to overtake him after I just tapped him a little. So I let him go, and then I just saw P1 Timmer being very far ahead. So yeah.
Well, it was great sportsmanship to let him back through. Very good of you. Obviously, not ideal because you did lose um, that gap to Tima, but obviously you got through on who was it in second? Because you got through, was it Moraviak in second? It was, wasn't it? You got through on him about 10 laps in. Then you managed to just crunch down that time to Tima. Absolutely magnificent there. About 2 seconds within 5 laps. Gone to DRS, got past, and then I think then it was more the fact of just getting behind, getting past, and then just keeping that lead. Because obviously, I think you had a bit more straight line speed, didn't you, on that race?
You're actually wrong.
Oh.
Timur had a lower wing than I did. As if you watch the stream back
Mm-hmm.
closely, you can see that he was always losing in the middle sector, and he was very fast on a straight. We actually noticed with Primoz as well in qualifying, he had 322 in speed trap, so and that was two kph more than we had. So he was running very low wings, and yeah, impressive performance by him today.
Mm-hmm.
We were, I think a lot of people were surprised by his pace.
Yeah. Obviously, onto lap 35, that's where you had that little battle. But then after that, on the final lap, there was nothing really Timo could do. He gained, but then I think he was just a few tenths behind into turn 4. So then after that, it's very difficult to make an overtake. So unless you made a mistake, which you didn't, it was pretty much smooth sailing to the end one, wasn't it, on that final lap?
Yes, I felt when I was behind him, I could
Mm-hmm.
really like hang 3 tenths behind him throughout the lap. So I thought, okay, I have somewhat decent pace, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna just recharge my battery to 100%, get my fuel to positive as I was running low on that. I underfilled the car by quite a lot because I thought I will be in DRS for a majority of the race, but it ended up being the other way around. I was not in the DRS for the majority of the race.
Yeah.
But yeah, try to recharge the battery, get more fuel, and then eventually when I had enough for my liking, I decided to pause, and then I was just trying to manage the gap and see, not let him by.
Yeah, great there. Great strategy. But obviously with Primoz also finishing 5th, that's great for you too. You should be able to jump Shizu, I think, in the standings. You was 4 points behind going into today. And I think you might be about 5 points ahead at max because obviously Tony somehow amazing got himself up to 3rd. So obviously out of qualifying, it looked pretty easy for you to try and gain a big gap, but Tony got himself into 3rd, so the gap won't be as big as you probably would have wanted it to. But going into the next round, are you excited? Do you think you have some more pace to bring there?
Well, yeah, I'm actually, as I told you last week as
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm enjoying the game a little bit more now than ever before this
Yeah.
game. And yeah, looking at my performance as well, I feel like I'm doing very well right now. As in Britain, I was leading the pack out of the normal strategy guys, and it was only one driver that could finish ahead of me, and that was that one driver that did not get a puncture out
Mm-hmm.
of the crazy strategy. And then I won in Italy, won here, so it's looking good, and I hope I can bring these results for PSR and keep up the
Yeah.
form.
If you can keep up that form, I think it's going to be pretty easy for PSR to try and take the championship. Obviously, Primoz as well. In a way, I was quite surprised by his pace. He did really well today compared to where I've seen him before. Great race from you two. Did you work together for the race or?
Yeah, we tried to, but there was really nothing much we can do together because obviously he was stuck behind
Mm-hmm.
Sergio Sobrino for a majority of the
Yeah.
race, and I could get past him quite easily in fairness because I think he realized as well I had a bit more pace at that
Yeah.
point, so there was no point to fighting me. But yeah, Primoz did very well as well. He's been, he has the same issue as I had before. He's not really enjoying the game, so it's quite hard when you're at that point to jump on the game, enjoy yourself, and do quick laps when you just don't enjoy it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has the talent, he has the pace, so yeah, I'm just hoping to work with him
Mm-hmm.
together and like in the future races as well.
Yeah, definitely. But anyway, thanks for joining me for a chat, and I hope to see you next week in round 4. And have a
Thank you
good
very
one.
much. You
Goodbye.
too, you too.
So there we are. That was a chat from Caden, the race winner. Caden, the race winner. I keep getting mixed up all the time. Obviously, great performance so far. I think he's standout driver of the first 3 races. Second, first. Should have really been a first, but obviously due to the way the game works with punchers, Matty got very lucky and still deserved the win. But yeah, very unfortunate for Caden. But obviously going into round 4, I'm not quite sure where we're at because I'm in that many championships. The calendars are always different, so I can't remember. I'm sure it'll be a great race next week. Thanks everyone for joining us in the chat. It's been nice to see. We see mainly NLR people in the chat. There's about 5 of them in the chat in the last few laps having a nice little chat. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. We'll be back next week for round 4. It seems likely PSR will take the Championship League going into these rounds, but I'm not 100% sure. But we'll have to see. So thanks everyone for joining. We'll see you next week for round 4 of the PC division at CTC. So goodbye.